Security has been tightened outside the Krugersdorp Magistrates Court. Outraged Krugersdorp residents are protesting outside court over what they say is rising crime in the area. And that's where we find our colleague Linda Mnisi, who is outside court. Linda, good morning to you. I'm not sure if you have heard the police minister's comments there saying that in total there were 12 women, and out of those, 8 were raped, and the others who were non-African, if you want to describe them as that, in fact, that's how he describes them. He says they were left alone. Some of the victims you have been speaking to, Linda, have they said anything about what they think happened here, or why it is that they were the victims versus their counterparts who were there?
Well, in fact, you'll remember that just on Saturday, I happened to visit a neighboring informal settlement from the actual crime scene. It's actually a stone throw away from the crime scene if you look at how it's positioned. The residents there, it's in the middle, in fact, of an open field. There you find residents of Plastic View, and they were telling us that just 3 weeks before this crime took place, 2 women in the area were abducted while they were sleeping with their partners. They were taken and raped repeatedly. And one of the victims that I spoke to there said that, the people that, or the person that raped her, one of the people that raped her would often change languages and spoke in a language that she did not understand, which gives you an indication, because she says where they were taken, there were other groups of men who then switched languages and would speak and talk amongst themselves. This woman that I'm speaking about is outside court, and when she described to me this person and these people that raped her, she said, she described them by stature and some of the features that they had. And she's outside court protesting with the people that you see behind me. I'm just going to bring her into this conversation. We won't be showing her face, of course, but we're just trying to gauge how she's feeling at this moment, given that, her suspect is known. And the police have confirmed that it's among some of the cases that they are investigating. And hanom plella ka satartaga o itse motho o go reipileng wa moitse plelle ka gore why o tlile today ke eng se o se batlang from court in
ke leboga se se ke batlang go khoto ke re go ya ka nna ke witcha gore a sa grab baby because o abusitse thata bophelo baka o abusitse le bana baka ntho ena ga ya ba tshwara sentle go ya le nna ka maikutlo yaka ga ya ntshwara sentle because in tlhokisa boroko because gape still go ke robetseng ko teng o latella dichomi tsa hae. So a ke itse gore ke tlo survive mo life-eng ya ka marakare ka gore modimo o teng wa mphelela ke tlo decide gore modimo ka metlha le matsatsi a ntshireletse ke wisha gore a sa kra bail go ya ka nna ke wisha yalo a sa kra bail le ena bophelo ba gagwe bo felle ko tronko ke kopa gore ba mo fe life sentence because o ntshenyeditse future.
And Urumutu Owa Muyitsi, Haka Kenako court today, would you be able to point out for Uteng Kobabatswering?
Fila Hore Abeteng, Haka Bateng, Kikomo Faisa, Kibuelene Kemla Hore, I wish you a life sentence, Bukutoba Balefat for both, Uskebe Watwa, because Utoira Hapemetwaleaka, Engwiha. Thank you.
Non plella Hore Hane Bahonka, Bahonkile. Pele ga monna ga go ne le robetse bosigo and monna ga go nang tlhalosetsa gore e motshwere gampe taba ebile wa tshaba for bophelo ba gagwe gore batho ba tshwere e le filisa yang le utlwa gore go tla nna betere maybe ha le ka mona especially o go reipileng
nanga faisana lene ka mahlo ka mona ka wisha gore lene a felle ko tronko bophelo ba gagwe bo felle ko tronko because ntwe a nkeditse nyone we editse a ikemiseditse nna ne ke sa ikemisetsa So nna ke witcha gore ba mo fe life sentence bophelo ba gagwe bo felletseng kwale a gona sepe se ke se ganang ke witcha gore nke mmone modimo a mphe ene ka mahlo because nako o seno o tsamaya ntshwere bad ebile ka mmone ke mmone ga seno fetso bua le nna so ke witcha gore ke mmone gape ke se ka phela ke mmona kwa fela kopa gore le mo khoto ke mmona ke mmona pelo ka e tla wela ka itse ke tla kra boroko
Okay, Xoli, this is one of the victims who was, of course, raped. She says she was raped on about 3 weeks before this incident took place, and she's explaining that she's hoping that if her perpetrator or rapist is amongst the men who have been arrested, she wants him to spend the rest of his life in prison. She wants him to face the full might of the law because he's ruined, her life. She says that she fears that if he's not amongst them, he might even follow her own friends. She says that, in fact, she knows this person, and if he gets into the dock, she will be able to point him out because she knows the person who took her and abducted her on that night when she was sleeping with her partner. I had an opportunity to speak with the partner on the said day, and he was telling me how disempowered he was when his partner was taken away from him, leaving him with a baby and taken to an open field. He said at this point, because he's scared of these men and he knew that if he tried to protect her, he would also be killed, he laid there powerless and couldn't do anything. It was the neighbors who at that time gathered strength to call the police. The police, who they claim still did not show up, but of course the police have denied that claim, saying that they know the suspect now, and the suspect is of course being traced by the police. So the hopes now for her are that the suspect will appear in this court and she will be able to point out that that was her rapist.
Yeah. Linda, two questions in one. The first one is that the feeling in that community around the people who are perpetrating these crimes, is that community able to, without any doubt, say that the people who are perpetrating these crimes are foreign nationals? And you add to that the element about the film crew. The suggestion is that some of the people, in fact, the men who were part of that film crew were Nigerian men who disappeared when the incident occurred. Do we know the whereabouts of those individuals?
At this point, it's not quite clear, and if you listen to the police minister about, that particular film crew, in fact, yesterday, speaking to my colleague Dumaule Mhlaudi outside of the ANC policy conference, Minister Begicele said that, he does not want to get into the details around this production company, but I want to quote him saying, there's a story there. There's a story, and police are yet to reveal what that actual story is surrounding the mystery with this particular production house. The residents of Krugersdorp, often refer to the people who are perpetrating these crimes as Basutus. Earlier, I spoke to a lady who said her daughter was shot in the face 2 weeks ago, twice, by the Basutus. They were clad in blankets and balaclavas, which is a description that was also used in this particular rape incident that took place on Thursday. Many of them who we speak to, Xoli, tell us of how fearful they are. In fact, yesterday I was warned to get out of that community because sometimes it's even the ones that are looking innocent, the people that are dressed normally during the day, who are perpetrators of these crimes, because what I'm told is that they transform at night and they wear these balaclavas and these blankets and they take information and people become then victims. It's a difficult difficult situation when you enter into that community because they live in fear. There are a lot of dilapidated buildings around, and community members basically say, at this point, it does not help for us to speak to you. In fact, they would even, stand a distance away from me to make sure that they are not seen to be speaking to journalists, because when the sun sets, they then become victims.
Linda Mnisi, let me thank you very much for that comprehensive update. Thank you very much indeed. And Linda, a little earlier, speaking to a victim of this very gruesome crime, but not directly linked to what occurred on Friday, or at least the incident that was reported on Friday, but it took place days before, as Linda explained it. And she's very clear that if this person were to be in court today, she absolutely would be able to identify him and tell him that she wishes he could rot in jail.